So in this segment, we're going to be talking about something that's, I guess, local to me would be the best way to put it. And this is a spot I pass by regularly when I went to the town centre, just because of the route I took to get to, most likely Yokoso, my favourite food place in the town. But that's a whole different thing. So, witness to historic Northampton abuse speaks out about how statue in Abington Street became a hunting ground for adults to prey on teenagers, pedophiles, essentially, pedophiles, or nonces, or whichever word you want to be talking about. So, a woman has spoken out about the culture of abuse and others witnessed as teenagers by predatory adults in Northampton. Last week, Northamptonshire Police launched an investigation into allegations about historic abuse of potentially hundreds of teenagers linked to a hangout spot in a hangout statue in Abington Street. That's right in Northampton Town Centre. It comes after a post on social media last week which led countless people speaking up about how they were groomed and preyed on as teenagers. And so I saw the statement someone put out, the person put out on Facebook. I don't want to put it up here just in case, people start, saying stuff to her. And I did reach out to her for, to ask her, what's going on. And she didn't want to speak to me about it. But what she did say is she spoke to the police. At least I think it's the same person anyway. She spoke to the police, and this happened when she was 12. She went to the police when she was 15, and the police officer apparently told her regret doesn't equal rape, even though she was 15 and she couldn't actually consent because those are the laws of the country. It's called statutory rape. So I don't understand what that police officer's thinking, and hopefully this story comes out, a bit more and more people speak up about what happened, and we actually see some people getting sent to some jail over this. And so now one woman has told the Crown how she witnessed firsthand how a culture of grooming grew around the town centre hangout that led to adults exploiting and abusing and threatening children. The woman, who's asked for anonymity, came across a group of people years ago who would meet up throughout the town throughout the week at the Copper statue in the town's main shopping street. It was described as a place where outcasts would come together and meet up after school with their friends, but often with people they didn't know. And it's a bunch of just random people who I'm not gonna say any more than that. But it's just people where some of them smoke weed and stuff like that, and it's just a place where I guess it's not the I don't know how to explain it, to be honest, but it's just random people who would just meet up there and just sit around that area. That's why they fenced it off. You can see in this picture that there's some metal fencing, and I'm pointing to it like you can actually see what I'm pointing at, but you can see there's some metal fencing there, and people don't really sit around there as much. So let's crack on. At the time, she said that's where everyone would be. There would be someone there at any point of the day. I think I had a bit of a bad vibe for the people who didn't go there. I think it had a bit of a bad vibe for the people who didn't go there. There were children who were smoking and a group of people right directly in the middle of the street. It was for people who were different. We were people who were brought together because we were outcasts. We didn't really fit together in other groups. But even back then, she knew something was wrong and she couldn't put her finger on it. Only now, years later, she reflects on how many things that were wrong about it, like how adults were plying teenagers with alcohol and how 20-year-olds were sharing legal highs with 14-year-olds. Those legal highs can be deadly. They are far, far worse than weed, and they were outlawed. And I watched a documentary about it. It was scary stuff. Things that would make your teeth fall out, and it's just so much worse than weed. You're very mature for someone your age. As a teenager, it's incredible to hear that, but for a 20-year-old to say that is manipulative. When you were there with a child's mindset, you don't see any trouble. It's not until you become an adult you do realise you would never be a 20-year-old hanging out with 14-year-olds. She also describes the campouts when the group would take trips out to fields, build a campfire and drink. She said, we were kids who were smoking, drinking, and the adults would supply it for us. It's not like we weren't asking them to bring alcohol, but it's up to them to say no. I remember a time when I was in McDonald's, it was late, like 1 a.m, and there was like a group of girls asking a bunch of guys for, these guys look like in their 30s, for alcohol. It was a pretty grim situation, to be honest. There were lots of people at those events, a mix of girls as young as 13 and adults who were 19 or 20 or older. A lot of incidents would happen there. I would see people start relationships with others a lot older than themselves. At the time, I didn't think a lot of it. At the time, I was glad to be part of a group. I wasn't there for a very long time. I left after about 2 years. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. For the woman, what she witnessed in those 2 years were never properly addressed or seen for what they were. It's only after reflecting on what happened with a friend that she realised the severity of what happened in her youth. And these adverts are really annoying me now. We would always make jokes about it. It was a coping mechanism, but then we talked about it and thought about what it meant, and we realised what happened was really wrong. Then in late June, a post on social media was set up. It was a place for young people to speak about their experience growing up in Northampton, to talk about what was really going on with the statue in Abington Street. Go away. The post exploded. Hundreds and hundreds of people across Northampton have shared how they have lived for years knowing that they were exploited as a teenager, and the post is now made up of hundreds of harrowing accounts and has outlined a culture of exploitation, alleged sex offences and predatory manipulation. Victims have shared screenshots of the manipulative and threatening messages they received. It led to Northamptonshire Police launching an investigation into the abuse centred around Abington Street statue. Since last Monday, I swear to God, this thing's really annoying me now. Since last Monday, June 29th, dozens of calls have been made to a dedicated incident number set up for detectives to look at the suspected victims. The woman later told the Crown the adults involved in this may have changed, and good for them, but they still did bad things to children, and they should still be punished for it. Absolutely, they should still be punished. That trauma stays with them. These young girls have carried it with them into their adult lives, while these adults get to carry on with their lives and have children, and their families don't know what they did. Now that they are bravely speaking out and confronting not just each other, but countless others who have reached out to them to share their trauma. The Abington Street cobbler statue stopped being a hangout years ago, but it's possible no one realised the full extent of what's happening around the Northampton statue and the teenagers who wanted to make friends there. In a way, everyone there was vulnerable in their own sort of way. The woman told the Cron, whether it was mental health issues or a bad home life or bad school life. I'm sure this is still happening to many people. We need to know, if you are a child, a 20-year-old is not your friend. We were taught stranger danger at school, but we're not taught about the people you know, the people you formed relationships with. Now the Northampton woman is encouraging anyone who is struggling with the experience of sexual exploitation to share what happened to them with the police. Anyone has been a victim, there's a phone number here. And there's the incident number there, 542. So if anyone was a victim of this, please contact the police. And what we can learn from this is that this stuff was open. You could see this. You could see this. You could see adults with younger looking women or girls, and no one did anything about this. That's a place where I kind of just, had my headphones on and I just walked straight past, because I knew there were people there I really didn't want to have to talk to or really look at or think about. And so I guess in a sense, I didn't know, things like grooming, and pedos were there, but that's not an area I wanted to be, if that makes sense. And so you can see that it's just a grim place, that town centre area, and the police have finally launched an investigation into this. What I'll do is I'll crop out the person's name and I'll put their statement in at some point in the video, and then you can just read it. You pause the video and read it when I put it in, and because I think it's important to actually talk about it. And I'll make sure I crop out the person's name, because even though she made the statement public, I don't want her to get any hate, especially not from a video that I made, which was meant to just talk about what happened. And so look, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully the police actually find and arrest people, because according to this person, when I spoke to her, she said the police have done nothing. All they did was speak to the guy. So look, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.